Hello, Gadfly. I'm doing video again. Um, I wrote down some of my thoughts about this prompt, but I just felt like I wanted to use my voice. So here we go. So yesterday's verdict in the Derek Chauvin murder trial is a moment of huge significance in our nation. Members of the Minneapolis Police Department spoke out. They testified against one of their own. They broke what sometimes is called the blue wall of silence, and that's a really significant thing. But this is a beginning, not an end. So in your prompt, you asked if we should, as a city, commemorate the first anniversary of George Floyd's murder to, as you called it, put a bookend on this year of racial reckoning. And my immediate response was, there are way more books yet to add to this shelf. In fact, we may need to build more shelves. This is not a moment for a bookend, which is not to say that we shouldn't acknowledge that anniversary, certainly. So I decided to run for council this year in large part in response to the dual gut punches of the COVID pandemic and the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor murders and so many others that really shone a spotlight on the systemic racism that's infused in our society that leads to disparate health outcomes in situations like COVID and quantifiable differences in policing and much, much more. So looking at the reality of systemic racism and how it pervades our society with a lens on Bethlehem, I'm reminded of the incident that led to the departure of former Chief DeLuzio, and that it revealed something about him that we couldn't unlearn, but probably shouldn't have been a surprise. And having the fact that he had been at the helm of the police department for 6 years tells you that there was an infusion of that into the culture in the force, which is not to in any way denigrate the hard work and the good work that many police officers do. So putting that right out there. But now he's gone, and we have Chief Cott, and we have a fresh start and a new opportunity to really change the culture of the force and to create a climate of mutual trust between the community and our police. And I think that that's a tremendous opportunity. So again, I think huge opportunity. There are many, I believe, on the force who are open to that opportunity. And I hope that as we recruit more police, that continues to be the case. That in that recruitment, we can, again, create greater bonds of mutual trust between the police and our community, our whole community. But to do that, we have to address racism and white supremacy. And to imagine that Bethlehem is somehow different than every other place in this country where we have seen these things happen is, I believe, naive. I don't think that we are somehow special, that because of the Herco case that we somehow learned our lesson and we're better than everybody else. I don't think that's realistic, and I do think that that's naive. So I think that we can be an actively anti-racist city. That partially is about the policing, but it's also about many other things that happen in our city and in our government and in our civic spaces. But to do that, it's an opportunity, again, to embrace our history, all of our history, and also be excited by the dynamic diversity of our future, of our present and our future. But to do that, we have to be honest, we have to be vulnerable in our communications with each other, and we have to understand and let go of our privilege, our white community members. And so I'm a white person, obviously. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to do this on video was to make that clear to everybody. I'm a white person, and I think that along with my fellow white community members, we have to drop our defensiveness about white privilege and acknowledge its truth. And the concept often makes white people uncomfortable. And many people say things like, well, I had it hard. I didn't grow up rich. I've had to work for everything I have. And so it's important for us to understand that privilege is not about wealth. It's about the recognition of one's basic humanity. I have never had to worry that the color of my skin would affect whether or not I would be respected and treated with dignity. That is a privilege because it's not something I had to work for. I didn't earn that. I merely get it by existing in my white skin. So I don't think that's, when you think about it that way, hard to accept, especially in this climate where we see everything that's happened and recognize the reality of it. And the fact that Minneapolis, police officers held one of their own accountable is yet more evidence of that recognition coming to the fore. So the Community Engagement Initiative, I think, was intended to provide opportunities for honest dialogue. I think that's great. I think it's really important. I think it's important for members of the police to engage with residents in opportunities where they're not at a call, there's not a heightened tension. It's really an opportunity for honest communication. I don't know, how much has been accomplished, but that interpersonal work, I think, is extremely important. And at the same time, we need to find ways to shift our thinking about public safety on the policy side. And that, for me, is moving away from policing first and more towards a wraparound approach that addresses the various needs of our city's residents. So I will advocate for true partnership between our health bureau and our police department so that people in crisis can receive the appropriate response at the appropriate time. And so I would close this. I know it sounds trite and cliche, but there is this quote by Martin Luther King Jr. I'm on the Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Committee at Lehigh, and so that's been a great opportunity for me to engage in more of his writings and to understand more of where he was coming from. And so I would end by saying this. This is what he said. Morality cannot be legislated, but behavior can be regulated. Judicial decrees may not change the heart, but they can restrain the heartless. And I think that that's, for me, in the end, where I stand. We need to do the work to understand and recognize white privilege. We need to do the work to be actively anti-racist in our community so that all of our residents, Black, Indigenous, people of color, Latinx, can feel a true sense of belonging in Bethlehem and walk without fear in our community. But we also need to use the levers of power and policy because you're not going to change everyone's hearts, but you can change behavior. So that was 8 minutes of my thoughts on this topic. And I hope that there'll be more chances to discuss this as the campaign goes on. And if I'm fortunate enough to be on City Council, that's the voice that I'll be bringing. So thanks.